Cassie Hicks from Modern Marketing Spark. Welcome to today's Facebook update. This is the weekly Facebook Live. So really glad to have you here, and welcome if you're listening in from the Modern Marketing Club, my Facebook group as well. So today we're going to be talking about tools and resources for social media. Now, why have I picked that topic? Because I've been out actually training this morning, been running social media for business workshop locally this morning. And one of the things that people always say on the feedback forms is how much they really love learning about all the tools and resources. And so I've actually put together a checklist with all the links to all the things I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to talk about lots of different tools and resources, but don't worry if you can't, I'm not writing anything down, but don't worry if you can't catch them or if I'm going quite fast. Just type social media tools in the comments and I will send you a link to so you can get the checklist of all the different resources. So I would love to hear from you as well as to which, oh hi Louise, which are your favourite apps and tools for social media, because there's so many of them out there. Now I'm going to talk about some more, I suppose, general tools, but also there's tools for each of the individual platforms. So this morning we talked in the training about LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Google Local and Instagram. So it was a lot of information. I imagine people's brains are very, very full. And some of the tools around that, and also hashtags and graphics. And Facebook, social media, there's so much you can do. So my advice, which I was sharing on the training this morning, is to just focus on one or two platforms, get really, really good at them. And that applies to these tools and resources too. So if Instagram's going to be your platform, and it's a really good one if you've got a business that's in any way got a visual component. I'm just going to move those because I can see those. Then you can focus on Instagram. You can get really good with the tools and the apps. You can grow your following really fast. But if you're trying to do 10 social media platforms, it's going to be really, really difficult. So let's have a look at some of the resources and tools. And I'd love to hear from you as to which ones you like. So let's start with scheduling tools. Now, definitely don't recommend scheduling on Facebook, but it can be really, really useful to use scheduling tools. So to schedule your social media posts in advance. Particularly, we use it for Twitter, for LinkedIn, for Google Local. When you need to be posting every day or regularly on a social media platform, but you don't want to be actually having to log in and go into all the individual platforms, the scheduling tool is a fantastic way to do that for you. So there's 4 main scheduling tools. There's Hootsuite, is the one that most people seem to have heard of. There's Buffer, which is the one that actually we use. Now, we used to use Hootsuite, we've moved to Buffer. There's MeetEdgar, and there's Post Planner. There's probably other ones as well. I know there's some other free ones that people have mentioned. So if you've got some, just post them in the comments, because I'm always looking for new tools and resources and things. And what's interesting is they all do slightly different things. So Hootsuite will post things at the best time for the audience on that platform. So if you put a post onto Hootsuite and you say, right, I want it to go to Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, it's going to send that same post at different times to those 3 different platforms, because the Twitter users have got different dynamic and behavior to people on Facebook, and different again to LinkedIn. So Hootsuite's very, very useful for that, and it's quite nice. You can actually queue up your posts. Buffer we really love, because with Buffer you can see what your most popular posts are, and then you can just one click and just recycle them, so you can keep topping up your buffer all the time. MeetEdgar's a paid scheduling tool, and it's for people that will like things really organized. So if you like things, if you've got a bit of that really handy OCD trait in terms of organizing your content and organizing things, you'll probably love MeetEd, because it's very, you put things into categories, you color code, you set, your blog posts go on this day and your other posts go on this day. And once all that's set up and organized, it just all becomes very, very effortless and seamless. You just have to do the setting up part. And then Post Planner I really love, because Post Planner shows you the most viral posts and memes in different areas. So you can search by keyword, or you can pick different channels, and it will show you what the most viral posts are, because what you want to do is find viral posts so you can share them, and then you're going to get more people engaging with your posts, and that's really how it works on social media. So those are the scheduling tools. For Instagram, there's a couple of scheduling tools. The one that we use is called Grum, G-R-U-M, and I've heard mixed reviews about Grum, but we use it and I've never had a problem with it. I've seen it works really, really well. We're using a strategy where we're posting 3 times a day at least on Instagram, and that just wouldn't be manageable without some sort of scheduling tool. So as far as I'm aware, we're not getting penalised for using Grum for scheduling onto Instagram, and that's working very well. So check that out. What about you? Are you using any scheduling tools for social media? Are you using anything generally outside of the 4 that I've already mentioned? Are you using any scheduling tools for Instagram? One caveat on the scheduling tools is to make sure that you schedule within Facebook. So use the Facebook scheduler. Don't use the scheduling tools for Facebook, because you'll get penalised in the algorithm. Facebook doesn't like that. Now, next thing to talk about is quite interesting. One thing that we had quite an interesting discussion about in the training this morning was about link shortening. And you might think, what does that have to do with social media? But if you imagine you're on social media and you want to share a link, so whether it's in your Instagram profile or in a post or in one of your profiles, you've got a link that you want to share, you don't necessarily want to have this great big long URL with question marks and numbers and all of that. You want to have a nice short link. So we were talking about that today, and there's also an advantage to using a shortened link, something like Bitly, or if you use Hootsuite or Buffer, it'll automatically shorten the links for you. And the advantage to shortening the link, it obviously takes up less space. So if you've got a limited number of characters in a profile, for example on the Instagram profile, you don't want to have this great big long URL that's going to take up all your space. But the other advantage with using the link shorteners is that they track the links. So if you're using Bitly or the Buffer or Hootsuite link shortener when you're posting, you can then see how many people are clicking on that link, and you can track, and you've then got analytics. So it's really useful, because one of the main things about social media, people are busy posting and testing and seeing what works, and then quite often they're just not going and having a look to see what's actually working. And I'm always really surprised when I talk to clients and students when people say, do you know, I've been doing this and I've been doing that, what do you think about this? I don't know if it's working or not. So I think, well, as long as you're using a business profile on Instagram, business page on Facebook, and all the other social media platforms, you can get those insights and analytics, and you can see what's working and what's not working. So really, really important to do that. Nothing special that you need for analytics. They're built into the actual platforms themselves, so you don't need any special apps. There is a new one that I've come across called Gritix, and that is a really useful tool for analysing Facebook groups. So if you want to see who's most engaged, which topics are working, if you want to drill down into Facebook groups to see a lot more detail on the analytics side of Facebook group, then Gritix is worth having a look at. Now let's talk about graphics. So is anybody here using graphics on their smartphone? Because there's so many different apps, aren't there? I know there's WordSwag is one. You probably don't need to tell you, but my favourite graphics app is Canva, which is, we've used the paid one, but there's a free version as well. There's also PicMonkey. So they're all tools the way you can take images and customize them or add your own logos or text and things onto them. And another one to, when you're thinking of, we've got graphics in terms of images, but we're thinking about going to actually animations and into the video area. some of the tools and apps you can use there. So there's Animoto, which is great for creating either slideshow type of videos or what they call marketing videos, and they give you the templates for little marketing videos for social media. And I say little, I mean short, which you can then customize with your own images, with your own text. Another one is called Lumen 5. That's very popular. They've got some really interesting video templates on Lumen 5, whereas Animoto probably is easier to customize, I would say, but have a look at both of those. In terms of Instagram, there's Boomerang, which is great for making little videos from you can take some of your Instagram images and make little videos and use Boomerang on Instagram. Now, do shout if there's any questions, and or jump in, just shout out if there's anything that you're any apps that you're using. I'm just going through some of the ones that we use and some of the ones that I know that are popular. In fact, we use all the ones that I've mentioned. So some other little clever tools for you. There's Zapier and one called IFTTT, If This Then That. And what both of those applications, they work in different ways, but they do a similar type of thing, which is to connect unrelated packages. So for example, you can create a Zap on Zapier that will connect your Facebook to your MailChimp, or it will connect so for example, you can set up a Zap, and you can say in the Zap what you're doing, you're just setting up a connection, so for example between Twitter and let's say Gmail. So what you can, or let's say Google Docs, I'm trying to think of a good example here. So what you can do is you can say every time someone tweets with this keyword, I want you to put them into this list, or I want you to send this email, or I want you to flag them up or tag them in this way. So you could take them, you can connect what people are doing on Twitter with, for example, ActiveCampaign, or you can put them into a Google Sheet. So really clever, and it lets you connect unrelated platforms together. With IFTTT, If This Then That, you can set up recipes. So you can say, if this thing here happens, then I want this other thing to happen. They're very similar to Zapier, but if you have a look at them, they do work in a slightly different way. But again, it allows you to connect unrelated resources and apps together. So really, really clever. Guys, any questions on any of these resources and tools so far? This is like the Swiss Army knife of social media with all these different things. I say there's so many. I would love to hear the ones that you're using as well. Now, in terms of graphics, a lady this morning actually on the training shared a new one. I've never heard of it. I just had a quick look at it. Oh, thank you. It's called Beauty Plus, and what you do is you can actually enhance your own pictures. So what that means is you can take a picture of yourself and you can change the lighting, you can change the space between your eyes, and a lady this morning was explaining that you can actually do the makeup with the app as well. So if you just take a picture of yourself, you don't even need to really worry about your makeup. You can use the app to make yourself up. Excuse my dog barking in the background. So that's called Beauty Plus. So that's a fun little app. So we were talking about having professional headshots and how you have to represent yourself in the best light. So how about using an app that can make you look 5 years younger and beautifully made up? And oh, you use it. Oh, how funny. I'd never heard of it until this morning. So this is why you guys need to share this stuff, because there's so many brilliant things out there. Oh, Ali, that's great. It's good to hear that somebody's using it. But yeah, I love the idea that you can actually, make yourself look amazing. Shame you can't do it on Facebook Lives as well. Okay, hashtags. Who is using hashtags? There are lots of hashtag directories, but a great little tool that you may not have come across is called #hashtagify_me. So it's #hashtagify.me. So if you want a list of all of these, just type social media tools in the content and I'll send you a link to the blog post that I've written on this. Got all these in there with all the links to the resources, and there's lots more as well. #hashtagify_me it was actually not working this morning in the training when I tried to demo it. But it's a tool that shows you, if you type in a hashtag or a keyword, it will show you what other related hashtags people are using. So hashtags just mean a topic or a conversation. So if you typed in Beast from the East is the one that's on my mind today because of the snow and the Siberian weather that we're having in the UK at the moment. They're calling it the Beast from the East because we've got these East Siberian winds, and it's actually, I don't know if I can turn my camera around. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to cut myself off. It's actually snowing outside at the moment. There's a big snowstorm. And that is the Beast from the East. So that's a hashtag that was trending on Twitter and everybody's talking about it at the moment. So if you put Beast from the East into #hashtagify_me, it would tell you the related hashtags. And it does it with a series of circles. It's like a planet with planets, with, you know, other planets orbiting round. The bigger the blob, sorry, got messages coming in. The bigger the circle, the more people are using and talking about that hashtag. So that means you probably want to use these other hashtags when you're posting, particularly on Twitter and Instagram and Google Local. So if you put Beast from the East, and it probably would have a big bubble saying snow, you know, winter. I couldn't do it this morning because #hashtagify_me was down. But it's a really useful tool for finding good hashtags. And somebody asked a question this morning in the training, should we just make hashtags up? No, definitely don't. I had that actually with a client account recently as well, where someone was just taking random words and putting the hashtag sign in front of them. You don't want to do that, because what you want to do is you want to find the hashtags that are trending. So use something like #hashtagify_me. Okay, now I'm just having a look at my list. So we talked about scheduling tools, we talked about link shortening. One I missed off actually is called PrettyLink, which isn't an app, it's a WordPress plugin. But if you've got a WordPress website, you can use PrettyLink to create customized, nice little short customized links. So that's quite a handy little one as well. We've talked about PicMonkey, we talked about Canva, we talked about WordSwag. A couple of other ones I just want to share before I close, and I'd love to hear what you guys are using, because Ali is already using Beauty Plus. If you're running any contests on Facebook or Instagram, there's a couple of really useful tools. One is called Rafflecopter, and that's a third-party tool which will actually help you to manage and run your contests and competitions. Keeps you within the terms of service for Facebook, and it takes away all of the all this worry about how do we pick a winner and how do you police it, how do you make sure people are actually liking the page and following and clicking here. You know, when you set your rules for the contest, imagine when you've got 300 people that have engaged with a post, you've got to go through and check, did they actually like, did they follow, did they do this? So Rafflecopter will do all of that for you, and it will also suggest a winner. So it's completely random, no bias. There's another one called Agorapulse, which is quite an analytics tool, but they have a really useful, they've got a useful contest app as well that you can use. The other one that it's not really an app, but it's quite useful for Twitter and Facebook, is called Thunderclap. And what you can do is create a big campaign, and Thunderclap will build up all your supporters. You know, you promote it, you build up your supporters, and then you fix a date, and on that certain date, boom, all of a sudden, that's why it's called Thunderclap, you have this big boom that goes out on Twitter and Facebook all at the same time. So it builds up the momentum for you. So that's a really, really useful one. You do have to get, I think, at least 100 people supporting you to be able to go ahead with that. And a couple of, on the content side, where to find some good content, there's Feedly, which is a really useful place for finding content, for finding viral content and content from people that you know, influencers, people that you follow. There's BuzzSumo, again for finding stories and trends and seeing what's going on. And there's one called Q, which is Q and then 3 U's, which is another site for finding really useful content, because it can be quite hard. You're thinking, I've got to find this viral content, where am I going to get it from? I think I'm going to leave it there for now. Say there's just endless apps, but I'd love you to share. If you're in the Modern Marketing Club, it's Top Tip Tuesday today, so do share and top tip. Just use hashtag Top Tip Tuesday. Share the tools that you're using, share the apps that you've discovered. Oh, Louisa's saying I'm a big PicMonkey user. Yeah, no, PicMonkey's really good. I mean, it's quite, PicMonkey and Canva are quite similar, but yeah, no, it's really good. And these platforms, the most amazing thing about these platforms is that they're pretty much all free. I mean, some of them have a paid, you know, a premium version, but they're pretty much free. So how amazing is that, that we have, look, there's a whole, I've got a whole page list of tools, and there's even more on the blog post that I'm going to send you. And just about, I'd say 90% of them are completely free. So you can build your business and do all these amazing things with some time, but without having to invest. So that's pretty fantastic, isn't it? Guys, thanks to you that have joined live. It's been brilliant to have you here. If you think of anything else that you want to share, or any other resources and apps, please, as I say, either share them here or in the Modern Marketing Club. Either place is fine. And I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, same time, same place, in Modern Marketing Spark Facebook page or the Modern Marketing Club. And let's hang out there. There's always fun things going on, and we'll be sharing new tools and resources from within the group when they come up. So have a great Tuesday. Thanks, guys. And yes, I'll send you the link, both of you, for the resources and the tools. Okay, take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.